Hello, everyone. I'm Mystery.
And I am Dalton Mortimer, the Authenticator, and we are the Duality of Man. And apparently today we are spilling more tea than the Boston Harbor, folks.
Yeah, so the T app, which is an app on the App Store, it basically allows women to create profiles for men that they've been involved with and then give information about them. Now, originally, the app creator said that it was about doing allowing women to do criminal background checks on men to prevent them from dating criminals, which is I believe is pretty much counterintuitive because as we've all seen with a lot of famous criminals and serial killers, women flock to them for
They love themselves an
the
edgy boy. They do. They love a bit edgy boy.
yeah. So uh, women will say that this app was just to keep us from dating felons. And like nothing has stopped women from dating felons, even full knowledge that they were felons.
Well, okay, and let's not forget how many serial killers use their physical attractiveness to take their victims off guard and then do insert unspeakable travesties to them.
Yeah, like that Luigi guy who shot the healthcare CEO. How many women have been throwing themselves at that guy? It's ridiculous.
They have, although I'm going to tell on myself a little bit here. When I saw his picture for the first time, not knowing who and what he did and so on, I did think he was rather cute. But that just goes to prove the point. Like I said while we were discussing this off screen last week, I said something to the effect of women see men as expensive appliances that they have to get the appropriate bells and whistles for. And the apps like this, and the subreddits like female dating strategies kind of prove my point. They basically are doing product reviews or cost saving reviews of the men in their lives, not as people, but as expensive appliances that they have to get the right features for. Derp.
All right, so we have a video here by Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. Let's get into it.
Yep, better not.
All right, guys, you've been hitting me up nonstop to talk about this T app. And after researching it, looking at some videos of the app in action and some screenshots, and I'm going to share all of that with you guys here today. Yeah, because I got the inside scoop. I think that this is an appropriate conversation for us to have in this modern dating shit culture as it exists today. Obviously, I have some key issues that we're going to go over within the confines of this video as to what this app is and then how women are actually utilizing it. First, I wanted to go through the branding that they have on the website because I think that this is very important, right? Because they can advertise as one way to get like interviews on like Dateline, NBC, the Today Show, or wherever the hell else that they've been going recently.
Yeah, basically all the feminist centric chill places.
To be fair, almost every site is sold as one thing and ends up being used as another. Like Twitter back in the day used to be referred to as a blogging site, and we all know that that's not how that went down.
Yeah. But one of the things is that it was created to do background checks, and if someone's not a criminal, it should just basically come up blank. But what this app also allowed them to do is basically create profiles for men who weren't criminals and then post stuff about them. So this is really messed up because it basically allows other people who may very well hold a grudge against you, to basically create a profile and alter your public perception in the dating market, which is
Well, it's
going
it,
to
it's
screw a lot of
also
people.
it's also a rather Lovecraftian window into the things that women define as turnoffs, because as we just went over, criminality isn't going to do it as long as they're attractive and they put on the come hither. But there are things apparently that women find to be more morally reprehensible, more morally reprehensible than criminality, and those are the criteria that they can burn guys on. It's one of those. Okay, so you don't care about a person's criminal background. In fact, if a criminal background is sexy enough, you actually consider it a bonus. But you do think that insert whatever bullshit they actually consider a turn off or a turn down is a turn down.
Even treating previous women that the person has been with like crap is not enough to turn off women.
Because of the famous Beauty and the Beast syndrome / I can fix him. Which, if that in and of itself isn't a large, like 80% of the problem, I don't know what is. We just went over last week the whole monster fuckers wanting to get in with ontologically evil guys as long as they're hot thing.
Yeah, and you know, even if like this guy will have like multiple red flags from other women, so that these women will know what women are attracted to or not attracted to. Even if those women give this guy multiple red flags, other women will still have sex with this guy. It's ridiculous. It's like insane. It makes no logical sense whatsoever.
Because I can fix him with my sacred badge, don't you know?
But what we find is how the women are utilizing it within their daily lives or their practice is a lot more nefarious in nature. Long story short, one of the ways that women are violent are through reputation destruction, false allegations, and this gives them a platform, an anonymous way to post potential lies defaming men in order to get back at them. Anyway, let's go through the way that they are currently branding, because branding is key. Dating safety tools that protect women. If this is truly what it did, I'd have no problems with this. I think dating safety tools to protect men and women should be something that we have access to. Okay.
Yeah, so if it was just the background check stuff, this would not be a big controversy at all, except for the hacking and people's photos.
Yeah, I'd still be a little bit cagey about the doxing and things, but it would at least, like, it wouldn't have the moral stink on it that it currently does if it was actually used as intended. Although, again, telling a certain kind of woman that X person has a criminal background is pretty much as good as saying, here is a hive full of honey, my dear bees, go for it.
I'm pretty sure there are apps specifically to connect women to criminals. Like, I
There
think I
are.
read about it somewhere.
And the whole prison pen pal thing for people on death row suggests that this isn't even all that new of a phenomenon. People were simping for Ted frickin' Bundy while he was in prison. So if that's any indication, this is not a modern issue. But stuff like the T app just facilitates something that always existed.
Yeah, didn't Charles Manson get married in prison?
He did. I believe so did the Unabomber, so did Ted Kaczynski. And given how just unattractive, physiologically speaking, Ted Kaczynski is, that to me is almost more stunning than Ted Bundy getting women in prison. Because Ted Bundy, both to his credit and to his discredit, knew how attractive he was and used that to his advantage. Whereas Ted Kaczynski basically did everything he could not to be attractive to anyone ever, and he still got a girl in prison after all the bombing and terrorism and shit.
I remember reading this one story about a guy who had previously killed two women that he was involved with, and he was, I believe, going to be put on death row, and he had women online raising money for his defense because they found him too attractive to die, even though he murdered two women that he was involved with. There is no level of evil that will make a guy too unattractive to certain women. It's insane.
And this is a sad sort of quirk of our psychology as a species. We automatically insinuate if someone is beautiful with them being morally good as well, and if someone is ugly or gives us the creeps, we associate that with evil. Although I would hope that, living in the 21st goddamn century would make us go, no, wait, predators are often attractive. That's part of what makes them dangerous. But apparently, I'm preaching to a wall here because apps like the T app exist, where we don't hold men accountable for being criminals. In fact, that's a plus. But we hold them accountable for displeasing us in whatsoever way they happen to displease us.
Perhaps it's the fact that they are criminals who've done terrible things is what makes them more attractive. The danger element. Perhaps they think that, oh, if I can, date this guy or marry this guy, then this, extremely powerful, dangerous man will be on my side. Even if they
Well,
kill the woman
well,
who
yeah,
previously.
I'm reminded of all things of a Harry Potter quote. He who must not be named did terrible things, terrible but great. Um, it does kind of seem a little bit like that in the way that like power is a synonym for competence or a synonym for the ability to have an impact on the world, and it might be that ability to have an impact on the world or the ability to bend the world to their whims is part of what makes them attractive to women. Like if
Most men, the thing is, most men are capable of most of the level of violence that a lot of these criminals display. We just don't because we have a moral center that tells us that it's really fucked up to do.
Yeah, but Beauty and the Beast syndrome, don't you know? I can fix him. I can redeem his wicked ways with my sacred badge, and therefore I will date as many of these dangerous men as I have to, so as to find the one that I can fix. And then they're hell surprised when it turns out the beast simply remains a beast, and there was no victory for you to gain there to begin with, and everyone told you, but you ignored it because you had the Beauty and the Beast playing in your head.
This reminds me a lot of when they were doing all of those, anti grape campaigns on college campuses with all those feminist organizations, and everybody kept telling them most men would never do that, and the guys that are literally aren't going to care.
Yep.
Like most men aren't evil, and the men that are evil, you are not going to be able to change them with more rhetoric.
Well, but the sad thing is, because serial killers and the like can look powerful and therefore competent, they're the men that women mean when they say a real man. Real man usually. They don't accept the notion that most men aren't like that because women only, or very often, only see the men they're interested in, and the like top 20, top 5, top 1% of men who they do find incredibly attractive are more likely to be like that than all of the, plebs and incels down here who would never do a sociopathic thing in their life, but as a result are also not physically or psychologically attractive to women, and therefore women don't see them because they're not men, they're blank male humans or boys or whatever other catch-all insult we can make for them.
If men, if all men behave like the men that women, are constantly, fawning over, like all these criminals, society would cease to function because it would simply be too violent to maintain.
Granted, the functionality of society at the moment isn't great anyway, but okay, so.
But that's a different problem. People are too weak to maintain it at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's go through specifically how they seek to just protect women. Verified green flag men run background checks, identify potential catfishes, verify that he's not an S offender, and check for criminal history. Now, when you look at the different capabilities or features within the particular app, I would say number 5, criminal history, number 4, S offender, and number 2, background checks. That's actually an applicable way to be able to look at, but you don't need this app for that. You can go, and I'm not sponsored. There's like been verified, there's different apps like that you can utilize in order to check out a person's public history, whether or not that they're an ex-offender or if they've been to prison. Since this is publicly available information, I think all of those things are green flags. Now, this identify potential catfish, my assumption for this is that they're utilizing some type of AI in order to see where else or what other social media platforms or dating platforms that your image exists. And then they cross-reference the different photos to see how closely aligned that they are. But the real issue that I have with all of this is this: find verified green flag men. And we're going to get ready to go through it. But there's a system there where you, as an anonymous woman, right, you have to sign up through the app and verify that you're a woman, right? Sending identification through. And then you can anonymously write under men's pictures and also say if they are a green flag versus a red flag. But I find it so interesting that they said find verified green flag men, as if an anonymous poster online is verified. Is it verified because they verified their identification, or is it verified because what they're saying is damn true? Back in 2008-ish, I know I'm dating myself a little bit, this is when Facebook was rising into prominence. I went to school at Penn State University, so we were one of the first schools that had access to Facebook. They had a development of like apps that could be inserted within it. One of those was called the Honesty Box. You guys remember that? The Honesty Box was interesting because people could anonymously write messages to you that could potentially destroy your self-esteem. But
So, what do you think about the app so far?
I mean, again, if it worked the way it was intended to, it would be less of a problem. I still wouldn't be in favor of the doxing and the like literal profiling thing, but it would at least be less of a problem if it functioned as intended. Unfortunately, many of the things that the app considers a red flag are basically the honey on top for quite a lot of women. And the things that most women who would use this app would use it for are having absolutely nothing to do with criminal history or morality, because at most they actually consider lack of criminal history or lack of normative morality to be a plus, not a minus.
But the one thing that really derails the whole thing for me is they gave the women the ability to create profiles for the men and to post unverified information regarding them on these profiles. Like the
Yeah,
fact
it's
that they
just
can post at anything and there's no way to check whether or not what they're posting is the truth just derails the whole thing, in my opinion.
it reminds me a lot of, if you remember the bully hunters thing from, I
Yeah.
want to say it was like 2017. That's what this reminds me of more than anything. And the thing that made Candace Owens famous before she went conservative.
What made Candace famous? Candace Owens famous again? Remind me. That was like,
Wasn't she involved with the whole bully hunters thing? I thought that was hers. It
I
was
don't believe
it
so.
was either the bully hunters thing or it was some other like social justice thing. Some other social justice thing that she was in charge with, and then once it crashed and burned, she switched sides and went conservative. I just can't quite remember the particular details.
Now she's just going insane.
Well, yeah, the whole she's fallen down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, the actual conspiracy theory rabbit hole. The dinosaurs don't exist because something the Jews rabbit hole.
Now she's
Uh,
getting into a legal battle against the French family of the French president.
Mon
Did you not
Dieu,
hear about
as
this?
the French would say.
Did you not hear about this?
No, I didn't hear about this. What? I can't even I can't even accept that I'm about to ask this question. What caused Candace Owens to could declare fatwa on the French president.
I believe he called Macron's wife a man, and now they're suing her.
Okay, that makes more. I thought she was suing them for some reason. Okay, that's better. Still insane that that's where we are in politics in 2025, but that at least makes slightly more sense than the alternative, which I was thinking. I thought she was declaring. I thought she was suing him for some reason. Okay, that's slightly better.
Even if you suspected that that was the case, you would need a high level of confidence enough to say it openly on your platform that would open yourself up to a lawsuit.
I I didn't have Candace Owens gets BTFO by the French president, but it wasn't on my bingo card. But here we are.
I didn't believe it when I first read it either.
Politics is so surreal in the year of our Lord 2025. Such a clown show, my God. Uh,
Speaking of clown shows, we can talk about England next week.
oh God.
As the user, I would opt in to having the honesty box put on my profile. So if I didn't want people to be anonymous or troll me via the internet or send me D threats and shit like that, then I just never had to sign up for the app. But there was a consent here. Within an app like this called the T app, there is no damn consent. You can just have your image, your likeness placed it on this app for those people to run your name through the rug. And because it's anonymous, because you cannot verify the person that is saying the bullshit, it incentivizes an already often emotional component of the populace to seek revenge. And those that we go over week after week that love
Yeah, something just occurred to my mind. Though,
Mm.
how many women on this app do you think were posting revenge porn of their exes?
Um, Probably about 70 to 80% if I was being generous to them.
Yeah, like I hadn't even considered that previously. So it wouldn't just be, like their pictures. They could be posting all kinds of sensitive images. And that's one of the things that women in the past decade have been harping on about a lot about men sharing illicit pictures of their ex-girlfriends out of out of spite. But like I'm 90% sure that the women on here were doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, imagine if this app had existed during the Johnny Depp Amber Heard debacle. Imagine the things Amber could have said about Johnny during that trial if this app existed back then. Because, like, that's the thing. People forget that it's not just people like Johnny Depp that get railroaded by this bullshit. There are way more Amber Heards in the world than anyone should be comfortable with. But unlike Johnny Depp, they don't have the money, resources, time, and energy to railroad the Amber Heard of the world. And the T app appears to be what happens when all the Amber Heards get together and decide, fuck that guy. And not in the fun way. But I'm pissed.
Yeah.
reputation destruction or false allegations can just easily make shit up about you. And there's profiles up there that women will allege that these men are PDF files, but there's no evidence to the case. Now, if you go down and you look at the branding, of course, they got images of the interracialness, right? It's to mean this is for everybody, demonstrating them in boss B attire, but avoid red flags. What else? Protect your heart. Yeah. Our safety tools. Okay, just a restatement of above. And then they got this movement shit. Anyway, I want to go over some TikTok reactions real quick, and then we'll dive in deep and to see exactly what the app looks like.
I'm not the only one who's been scrolling on that T app, or I know you're at home waiting to be accepted. Yo, my bestie called me yesterday. She said, bestie, there's this app, and they're exposing all the men. I'm like, tell me more. Tell me more. I want to know. She's like, you could post a picture of your man.
This is exactly who I thought would be using this app.
Yep. All right on cue. Physiognomy check failed with flying colors.
I think that should be a red flag for men. Like, were you on the T app? Cool. Goodbye. I'm done.
Yeah. And speaking of previous, scandals of this kind, imagine if the T app existed during #MeToo era.
Oh god, that would have made everything so much worse.
Yeah. And yet here we are in the year of our Lord 2025, and it's still considered scandalous, not for this app to exist in the first place, but for the very same people who were doxing all the men they could get their hands on, are now having their information leaked. And I would have empathy for that, because doxing is a shitty thing to do to anyone, but you lived by this particular sword, and now the sword is in your guts. Who knew?
Yeah. So, like, these women who go on this site, like, they live for gossip, but that's not a new thing for women. It's just now that the fact that they can do it literally nationwide and with literally zero accountability for the things that they say.
And also with the most minimal amount of effort possible. Like, yeah, the internet doesn't create these problems, it just facilitates something that was already there, folks.
Or the old man you used to talk to, or a man that you want to talk to, and people will rate them a red flag or a green flag, and there's comments, and everything is anonymous. You can write hella comments and say whatever you can say. Dick was weak, they stink, they have kids,
whatever they want.
They're a deadbeat, they beat on women.
Anonymous.
You can say whatever you want about them, and they can't do anything because they don't have access to the app, because you got to take a.
It's just a bunch of unverified accusations that could potentially ruin this person's life.
And I of all people really hate the witch hunt analogy, but for those who need a reminder, you do realize that the majority of accusers during the burning times were young women who hated older women, or more powerful and successful women, usually. Like in Salem, for example, it was like 14 or 15 girls of ages ranging between 12 and 16 that were doing most of the finger pointing at the Salem witch trials. So, QED, women harassing other women and men because the gossip mongery is too strong to resist, I guess.
I think that is one advantage that women have over men, is that they're willing to just endlessly spew information to basically any other women that will listen. But men don't really do that. We have something private that we really want to keep. That we consider important. We tend to keep it to ourselves. But if men started sharing information about the various women in their cities, how how bad do you think that would get for the opposite sex?
I think we would discover just how common the Amber Heard type of woman actually is. Because I've seen people in my real life struggle with that kind of bullshit, and I'm willing to bet that I'm not an outlier here.
Not just the Amber Heard type of woman, but just how nasty some of these women actually are. I saw in another video, they were talking about some of the, because it hasn't just been the the IDs that have been leaked. They've started leaking DMs as well, and some of the DMs are really disgusting. Like, there was this one woman who who was talking to another woman who was involved with the same man, and they first woman said that he was having sex with her without protection, and the second woman said, "Why are you doing that? Just stop." And then the first woman says, "Well, he won't let you. Well, he won't have sex unless he does it without protection." And I'm like, So just say no. It's just what on earth could possibly be so compelling about this person that you would risk pregnancy and STDs with this person?
Because he's hot, don't you know? That's the thing. Not only is this detrimental for the broader reputation of women that they will acquiesce to shit like that, it also shows just how fucking evil a man can be as long as he is attractive. Meanwhile, like, you can get a man who will do literally anything you say, ladies, but if he's not endowed with at least three of the 6 or 7 sixes or more, then he can get fucked, and he's an incel, and he is a loser, and he would be lame, and so on. That's an indictment on both men and women in this particular case. Women, because they will let attractive men get away with shit that no one should, and men, because the percentage of men who are and know they are attractive will literally just force the women to do whatever they want, apparently.
Yeah, and they're also messaging about um how they had STDs and how they were getting them from like these same guys. It's like you are all getting STDs because you're all sleeping with the same small subset of guys.
Yeah, the top 1% of the top 5% of the top 20%, pretty much. Which again just goes to show women will do just about anything to not notice red flags as long as the guy is hot enough. As long as he's in the category of a Gaston or the Beast from Beauty and the Beast, it doesn't matter that they're incredibly flawed, fucked up individuals. I can fix them with my sacred vagina, even though me and all the other women are trying to do that same thing and it's not working. But obviously, they don't think about that for more than 5 seconds.
Yeah, and the reason these guys can do these things and get away with these things is because women allow them to get away with this stuff. And I've never heard any sort of self-reflection about them needing to change something in their own behavior in order to avoid getting involved with people like this who spread STDs. Like it's always just complete blame on the guy, and the guy is a piece of shit for spreading STDs. But like, do you hold no culpability for getting involved with someone repeatedly who has spread STDs?
According to like the broader sisterhood, no, because when a man does bad things, it's just confirmation that men are bad, and they can't be held accountable for having been convinced by the guy because, oh, I'm just a poor, innocent, put upon little woman, and he's a master manipulator who convinced me to do something against my will. Derp, derp, derp.
A picture of yourself to prove that you're a woman. So why I get into the app today, y'all?
Before she gets into the app, now notice the glee on her face as she describes all of this. And I find it so interesting because of all of the topics, content that we have going over this topic of consent. Yet the men are not consenting to be hosted on these sites. And from a legal perspective, if you're only taking their publicly available pictures, right? The girlfriend might actually send some private photos. And I'm not talking about like nudity photos, but just private photos to utilize that. And there's an issue of consent there. But if they're just taking publicly available pictures for people to add their thoughts, lies, opinions on, or even some facts associated with it, my thing is have the women verify who they are as well. I can only hope, although I would not think that this is the truth, but I can only hope that if someone posts something defamatory in nature and a man can then prove that it's a lie, I can then initiate a ticket to get their legit information, their license, so that I can sue them. Because again, while I think that both genders should be protecting themselves, what I don't like here is the lies.
And I'm not thinking that it's like real. You know, like I'm thinking like, oh yeah, they're gonna expose people, but I don't think I'm gonna be knowing any of the people that's on there, right? So I get in, I'm scrolling, I don't see nobody I know, right? I don't see nobody. And I scroll a little bit more.
Well, it's supposed to be
And they
anonymous,
got more men
darling. Do
ain't
you
on
not know
there.
what
They not
anonymous
lying.
means?
No, no, she's not talking about women. She's talking about guys she knows,
Okay,
and the
well,
guys are obviously not anonymous.
I suppose. Anyway, moving on.
Man ain't on there. But I didn't see his friend though. But yo, I seen people that not only that I'm friends with, but did I be seeing at the parties, that I be with at the parties, chilling with the at the parties. I see people I know from the Bay, from Sacramento. I'm seeing all types of people. I'm looking at them like,
So,
those are
in
my
other
girls.
words,
They saying they giving out.
this shrewish reincarnation of Honey Boo Boo's mom there, she's from California. Who could have fucking guessed? Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, and not only that, you say she's saying that she sees all these people out, but she knows them, hangs out with them. Have you ever considered that the stuff you're seeing about them online might not be true? But like she's like taking this stuff, as gospel and like just willing to believe all this bad stuff about people that she apparently knows.
And furthermore, door number 2, even if it is all true, which again, skeptical, but even if it is all true, are you ever going to have the moment of, well, gee, if all these people that I hang out with are such shitty human beings, what does that say about me? Like, I know I'm a bit old fashioned here, but like, should you not judge people to some degree by the company they keep or refuse to keep? Like, because even if it was all verifiably true information, if I were a woman, I'd be sitting there going, well, shit, everyone I hang out with is a shitty human being. Maybe I should rethink my friend and or dating choices or something. But no self-reflection has entered her head. God damn it.
STDs, they burning everybody. They said they got 2 kids. I seen this one guy that I know. They say he got 2 kids and he's a deadbeat. I didn't even know he had no kids. And I've known him for 6 years.
Okay, so she's known him for 6 years and she's never heard him talk about kids. Maybe the post was fucking lying, you idiot.
Or, again, assuming it's true, you are a terrible person, because that means you've known someone for 6 years and never cottoned on to the fact that he's, I hope, a single father, if not married. Like, fucking hell. Like, I'm willing to give the T-App a little bit of benefit of the doubt here, because this woman seems like a woman who her IQ number could not heat a pail of water type of person. So I'm willing to bet that even if it's true, that means that she was so stupid that she didn't think to ask anything about him or his personal life while she was stooping him. Moving on.
Some of the people I know, breath stank, dick weak, cornballs. Some of them say, oh yeah, he got a big dick. Oh, I just cracked that. Oh, this is my man. So if you about to die about him, then like it's girls that mess with the same man arguing and beefing in the comments of the man.
Yeah, and think about the branding of it. It's called the T app. It's not called the Protect Women on Dating app, right? Like it's called the T. When you ship tea, right? Like, I think that's like women gossiping and shit like that. Like, they like the drama. They like the gossip. This shit.
The phrase "spill the tea" is probably what this is based on. Yes.
Didn't women used to take tea together and gossip? And
yes. This is as old as the hills. It's just a new face on the same doll at this point.
And interesting, like she mentioned that a lot of the women are dating the same men and arguing in the comments. Notice how none of them consider just giving up the man.
No, because this is a man who's in that top 1% of top 20% of top 5% person. It's the quote unquote real man TM. And as long as what they're arguing over is a real man TM, they would rather compete with each other for him than treat him like the scoundrel his behavior seems to indicate he is. Again, assuming that any portion of this is true, which I'm sure at least some of it is, or at least some of it has a basis in truth. Granted, there are also women who will straight up, for example, during #MeToo, make up rape accusations so as to sink a man. But assuming that even even a large portion of this stuff is true, you'd think they would think to themselves, well, shit, everyone I associate myself with is a criminal scumbag or a loser or a serial date rapist and that sort of thing. That should indicate to me the woman who I shouldn't associate myself with. But no, instead, because this is, women in competitive brain mode, they go, oh shit, 5 or 6 women want him? That must mean he's really good. I should compete all the harder for him. Because competition hypergamy, goddammit.
Shit ain't got nothing to do with protecting women, baby.
Like, I didn't think I was gonna see that many people that I knew on there. And I'm so glad that if they make a girl T app, I will be just fine. Okay. I'm loyal to my man, and I've been loyal to all my men. And I talked to one man at one time, and I love him wholeheartedly, and nobody can get on there and say anything
it got canceled
about me. The only comments gonna be hella green flags say she's so good as hell. That's all you can say about me. But yeah, y'all go download the app, and hopefully we'll get accepted, and go look at all the tea, because it's crazy.
Everything was all fun and games until I see.
I really hate women like that.
I'm sorry, but I am from the most rural part of Pennsylvania you can imagine. I have never heard someone be such a fucking hick in my life as that previous woman. God damn it. There's a reason why my first thought was she looks and acts like Honey Boo Boo's mother, because she kind of she is the kind of trash person who would get a reality TV show made on them.
Yeah, you can't see me, but I was physically cringing the entire time.
Yeah, it's insufferable, entirely and completely insufferable.
Seeing my little shit on that T app, y'all can keep that. He ate fists for breakfast. And what's so crazy is I did not get accepted for 3 days. The day I get accepted.
And she said that is she admitting domestic abuse?
Possibly, or go back a bit, because I didn't really catch what she said. I thought she was saying she would give up on the guy because she doesn't like people who do domestic abuse. But I might be being overly charitable again.
No,
this might be the abuser confessing without realizing it. Who knows?
Yeah, hold on. See.
It was all fun and games until I seen my little shit on that T app. Y'all can keep that. He ate fists for breakfast.
You catch that?
Yeah. Okay. So you were right. It is an Amber Heard situation where she's mad at the guy for not being willing to take more punches, and therefore is calling him a little shit and a loser.
Even if
depressing.
Even if he did cheat, just leave. There's no need to engage in freaking violence, because honestly, this guy should freaking call the cops on you, because what you did is worse.
Yeah, we need to stop letting the Amber Heards of the world get away with it, guys. In all seriousness, we need to start reminding ourselves men can be victims of domestic violence too. It doesn't matter that she's a woman. It doesn't matter that she's physically weaker than you, TM. If she is abusing you, you need to realize it doesn't make you less of a man to admit to being abused and putting your fucking foot down. In my lexicon, that would actually make you more of a man, because you're willing to stand up for yourself and not take abusive shit. But then again, I'm a gay dude and I don't get a vote as to what counts as being a real man, TM, apparently.
And what's so crazy is I did not get accepted for 3 days. The day I get accepted, I'm with this nigga. Is this a sign? And then, mind you, I'm not the one that posted about my little shit. So who's more worried about my little shit than I am? Bitch, you want to know the tea before I do? Oh, keep on.
Attention, all men.
God.
You need to be careful.
Why? Just this woman, she keeps calling him a little shit, and all I can hear is the like section of the Johnny Depp Amber Heard tape where she goes, all I did was punch you, Johnny. Take a punch like a man, Johnny, etc., and so on. Fucking hell. Oh.
There is now a T app. Apparently, this app right here, the T dating app, is for women who are trying
Does
to
he have a
avoid dating
bonnet
red
on?
flags in men. By posting men in that area that they live in, they might put some red flags, but sometimes they're just making up lies. One of my biggest fears is to end up on this app. I'm no stranger to women in my area, and then some. More, actually. So I just hope I'm not put on here and they're defaming my character. I'm gonna come clean.
Well, I'm
I've
sorry
done a
if
lot of shit.
if
It wasn't
you're
bad.
if you're the type of person who has sex with multiple women in a single area, my sympathy for you is somewhat limited because you are very much doing it to yourself.
Well, he might not even be sleeping with them at the same time. It could just be like, okay, I was involved with this one woman, and then that ended, and then I got involved with another one.
That's possible, I suppose, but it strikes me that this is the kind of quasi Chad person that women actually want, and therefore he's the type to sleep around. Is the vibe I get from him, but maybe I'm wrong.
Why is he wearing a bonnet? That just seems weird to me.
I'm hoping just a like YouTuber / TikToker gimmick, maybe.
Everything was consensual, but dude, I can't have this going up. I don't think I was on there. I tried to infiltrate this app and really sign in to look up my area, see if I got put on there. I couldn't. They had a verification where you take a picture, you take a selfie to confirm if you're a woman or not using the app. And obviously I couldn't take a picture. I was like, damn, this is top-notch security. I can't get past this. But until I move, I'm in a small town, so I'm assuming I'm good. I'm pretty low profile.
How small can a town be and still wind up on this app?
I can admit,
because I would think this would mostly apply to like larger towns and big cities and that kind of thing. And I know because I've tried to use dating apps in my local area, and there's nothing near me because my town is so small that it doesn't show up on most maps probably.
Could be a smaller town adjacent to a city.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. I'm curious how many of these are just California and New York all over again.
Well, I've seen the map where they did a map where they ping the locations of all the women, and it was all over the country, so it really could be anywhere.
Okay, fair enough.
I've had a lot of lore. So much so it got into conflicting friend groups, and that's how my first car got keyed. If you want that story time, let me know. But imagine.
Okay, he's probably doing this to himself.
I see. This is why that was my immediate response, because I was like, this is the kind of guy who is the sort that women will compete over. So I'm guessing he's kind of doing this to himself.
And all the hoes that you've ever had just posting pictures about you and just going in on you.
Sweetheart, most people don't get more than one hoe at a time, my darling. Like that. Like this is trying to translate the problems of ordinary men into Chad speak. Dude, most people don't get multiple girls. Period. Most guys are likely to even get one, and it's increasingly rare for the one guy or the one girl that guys do get to actually stick around long enough to have a long-term relationship. Mercifully, I'm gay, so the woman card doesn't work on me. But yeah, for most heterosexual men in 2025, they're lucky if they can even get one hoe, quote unquote.
I haven't really been trying to be dating because I've been focusing on myself mostly. But when I eventually do get back out there, it's gonna be so different and so much more dangerous.
No accountability
to take this app damn, I don't like the vibes of this. This is not okay. Why not be?
You know,
just like,
what's funny about this as well is that I didn't know anything about this. Like, I saw people commenting to me, yo, MTR, when you going to start talking about the T app? And I'm like, what the type of T app? What the hell? It wasn't until one of my best friends hit me up like, yo, have you seen this app? They got, and he named two of our other mutual friends. They got them brothers up there and they dragging them for filth. I said, wait, what? Like, you serious? So it's like that Facebook group from all of them years ago, but now they got a whole app dedicated. How did this make it beyond the damn app store requirements? And it makes sense because you go to the website.
There's a lot of apps like this actually. Like
the app, and it's
there's a lot of apps like this actually. Like remember Shinigami Eyes, that one app for like left wingers to determine if people on social media sites were red flagged or green flagged and shit.
No, I don't remember that app. Tell me about it.
It was this like browser add-on that you could get, and it would highlight names of different celebrities and stuff on social media like Twitter and Facebook and stuff, and it would tell you if their politics were green flag, i.e. left-leaning and trans-inclusive and shit, or if they were red flag, which meant, you know, basically the based people. And they called it Shinigami Eyes as a reference to Death Note, the way that the people with the Shinigami eyes can see a person's like name and lifespan over their head and stuff. That's where it came from.
That sounds to me like a subtle threat.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy. I'll see if I can find a video on it for you after the stream. I don't think it's a thing anymore, but yeah, there are a lot of apps like this that do the like quasi doxing shit.
It's just a breeding ground for women who just like to shit on men. By the way, they did create a male version of the T app and it got taken down in less than 24 hours. But I might do a separate video on that.
Because
so
men don't deserve to have opinions on women, don't you know?
Stay or they leave. Sometimes, most of them thug it out, I ain't gonna lie. But we find out on our own. It's getting scary out here.
Oh shit, man! They got me on the T app. Dean went back and forth since March. Things have been going well.
20 red flags.
He's just pretty secretive with his phone, but I fuck with him. I just want to know the T. Bitch, you should have asked me. I would have just told you myself. The picture this bitch shows. This shit is from 2021 of my tag photos, bro. I wouldn't even show this shit to my mother. 23 green flags, 20 red flags, 29 comments. We gonna see what they talking about. All right, first comment. He's easy. Emphasis on easy. If I'm easy, what does that make you? All right, second comment. Are you actually attracted to that? It's funny. I can't even be mad at that. 36 likes. Attraction is subjective. I think I'm handsome, so that's all that matters. But I already fuck with dark skin joints, brown skin joints, light skin joints, Asian joints, white joints, Hispanic joints. So I think I'm doing cool in that department. He's funny as fuck, but that's all he's good for. Easy as fuck. Not a complete eyesore, but he's champ. This is my favorite comment. Maybe I am a little champ on myself on the internet, so who knows? But go ahead, check out my YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Look at all the comments, likes, and views. People be fucking with me. When I'm in person too, they fuck with me heavy. So I don't know. I can't tell that I'm champ. Don't worry, I got a couple good comments in there. He said I've been around him and he's a really cool person. He seems really genuine. Y'all are haters. Each is cool as fuck. He's actually a really good guy. Don't listen to these bitches. He's cool. I went to high school with him. Nothing bad to say. He is very funny. Y'all are attracted to anything.
So he's got some green flags to his profile and some red flags and some positive and negative comments.
Which it's good to see certain women calling out the other women for being shrews and harpies, and actually being willing to defend the guy. I didn't see that coming, but good for you. Good for you, the ladies that actually have some integrity here.
Yeah. So why you gotta ruin it? Next page. He's honestly a good guy, and he's actually funny and respectful. He's cool. Known him since middle school. Not a creepy as far as I know, champ. But I mean, only because he's not a street nigga. If you're into that type of thing, whatever. He's so cool. I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm not even mad at it. It's kind of funny to me. But truthfully, like anywhere I go, niggas and women fuck with me. So maybe I am champ and hit, but damn, Shit, the way they treat me, I couldn't tell.
Why did you guard?
Yo, dating is so damn dead. I mean, I get running background checks on people, and I think both men and women should be doing background checks on each other as well as credit history checks as well. But we already know we could look at public examples of false allegations, reputation destructions. Do y'all really think that anonymously there's not going to be the same thing on this app? So how do you know that they just not throwing piss in the water because they want the men that they don't want you to have? Shit, we talk about so often these women that leave relationships talking about he's a narcissist. Meanwhile, she didn't even know what the goddamn word is. It's just her surface level IQ buzzword in order to try to describe selfishness. Let's listen to.
Also, the women who call narcissists are frequently themselves borderlines. Ironically, let's not beat around that particular bush either. Like the reason why some of these women know what narcissistic personality disorder is probably because their therapist almost diagnosed them with it.
A lot of them will throw out that word and have literally no idea what it means. Like it's become like every other insult buzzword out there. It's just like
it's just the new flavor of incel or virgin or whatever else the fuck.
Yeah.
The one more.
Garfield brain shotties, hop on a T app, start lying on dudes you know got videos and proof of you getting cracked by the team at B&Bs. Why would you lie and talk on dudes that you know you were secretly meeting up with when you had a man? Now you all over Reddit for your boyfriend, baby daddies, and family to see. They uploading text proof and photo proof. Now y'all don't want to argue no more. Nah, Kiki, tell them how my boy ran that train on you and you engaged. You don't want to talk about how you and your homegirls lied and all y'all came to the B&B and got crushed. Y'all really cooked yourself.
Yeah, so that's almost certainly like what a male version of the T app would be. Just revealing a lot of these women's sexual histories, basically the wild things that they did. And honestly, like if you're looking to get married, that's probably some information that you should have, honestly.
Yeah, and honestly, even before you start dating someone in 2025, you should be doing this kind of background check shit because my god, the dating pool is just a wretched hive of scum and villainy and idiots and morons all the way down.
Honestly, I think one of the biggest green flags would be if that app existed or was allowed to exist. I think one of the biggest green flags would be if that girl wasn't on it at all.
Yeah, that would be a good thing because it would mean that she didn't have a dossier's worth of sexual history.
Yeah, that would be a very good thing to have.
With this one, a shawty just got herself exposed for getting cracked by the whole city because you want to hop in the comments and say, oh yeah, he get around. No, come to find out you get around and your baby daddy don't even know who put their baby on the floor so they could get cracked on the bed.
God.
But the other problem here is it seems to just be trash people all the way down. It's idiots arguing with idiots, arguing with other idiots. God damn it.
About idiots.
Yeah, it's utter. Like, I don't like judging people en masse, but every single one of the motherfuckers in this TikTok compilation has been the kind of trash person that I avoid on principle because they are trash.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've there's this website where you can actually rank the women on the T app by attractiveness, and there are quite a few attractive women on there, but there are a shit ton of ugly ones.
I'm not surprised, and some of that ugliness is probably just physiognomy because, as Roald Dahl said, a person who's beautiful on the inside, no matter how ugly they are on the outside, eventually that goodness will shine through. But a person who is cruel on the inside will eventually become ugly, no matter how aesthetically pleasing they are, or something to that effect.
Yeah, like when I first saw a picture of Amber Heard before I knew what a psycho she was, I found her very attractive. But after listening to everything from the Johnny Depp trial, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-mile pole.
She's basically freaking Cruella de Vil for all intents and purposes. In fact, if they ever like, I don't want to encourage Hollywood to give her jobs because, frankly, she doesn't deserve them, and she's not even that good of an actress to begin with. If they ever do another live action 101 Dalmatians, consider Amber Heard because typecasting for Cruella de Vil.
Didn't they do a Cruella movie?
They did. It was actually pretty good as far as Disney live action stuff goes.
Stranger. Yo, BD ain't know about that. Hey, just know, God forbid, let this shit hit Florida. It's not gonna be a good day, bro. You see, Florida shawty staying out of this. They know it's not gonna be a good day in Florida. Then y'all forget these dude got homegirls that's gonna show them all y'all photos and what y'all saying about them on the app.
My how the f did I?
It's been about an hour, and it's basically just more of this. So, do you have any final thoughts about the T app?
It's just the new gossip tool is all it is. Like before the T app, it was female dating strategies, and like before that, it was Facebook hit piece groups, and before that, it was #MeToo, and before that, God knows what else. Like it's just the new gossip tool for the spring summer season. That's all it really amounts to.
All right. So we're wrap this up. I've been Mystery.
I've been Dalton Mortimer, the Authenticator, and we have been the Duality of Man. Cheers, guys. Don't stick hitting crazy.
Yeah. Goodbye, everybody.